Good morning to every one of you. My name is Micaela May Aslam, the leader of Group 4, together with my group mate, Miss Balane, Miss Candelario, Miss Gonzalez, Miss Ramos, and Mr. Sevilla. We are the Group 4, and for today, we will be discussing to you the Module 9, which is Bank Reconciliation Statement. With the topics, first, definition of bank reconciliation. The second is identify the reconciling items. Third one is forms of bank reconciliation. The fourth one is preparation of a bank reconciliation statement. And lastly, the preparation of the necessary adjusting entries. But first, let me discuss to you the definition of bank reconciliation. So first, what is a bank reconciliation? A bank reconciliation is a process in which the cash balance per book and cash balance per bank are examined against each other for accuracy of the records. It is usually prepared monthly because the bank provides the depositor with the bank statement at the end of every month. This process helps detect fraud, errors, and unauthorized transactions, ensuring the integrity of financial records and providing a clear picture of the company's financial status. A bank statement is a monthly record of the bank showing the cash balance per bank from the previous month, transaction description, the checks number issued, debits and credits amount, the daily cash balance per bank during the month, and picture of actual issued checks that are canceled. Many banks encourage customers to switch to electronic statements for environmental reasons and to reduce costs. For example, assume that Company B or the depositor collected 200,000 pesos from a customer in settlement of an account. The collection is deposited at the Bulacan Bank. So the journal entry to record the collection and the subsequent deposit is cash or cash in bank, which is 200,000 pesos, and the account receivable is 200,000 pesos. On the books of bank, the journal entry is the cash is 200,000 pesos and the demand deposit liability of the Company B is also 200,000 pesos. The journal entry is made on the book of Company B for the collection of customers on account. On the time, the company deposited the collection to the bank, which usually on the day or on the next day from the date of collection. The journal entry was made by the bank to reflect the deposit by crediting the account of Company B or the depositor.
Now we will identify the reconciling items, reconciliation items. The first one is the book reconciling items where it covers the credit memos, debit memos, and the errors. And the next one is the bank reconciling items and it covers the deposit in transit, outstanding checks, and errors. First, we will identify the book reconciling items. Under it are the credit memos, debit memos, and errors. We will now discuss about the credit memos first. Example is the credit memos. It refers to the items that are already credited or deposited by the bank but not yet known by the depositor. The example of credit memos are: the first one is the collection of note by the bank from the depositor's debtor, and the bank will deposit it to the account of the depositor. It means that when the bank collects money from someone who owes money to you and deposit it into your account, it's called collection of notes. The second one is the cash received by the depositor from the approved loan to the bank. And what it means is when you receive cash from a loan approved by the bank, it's money you can keep. And the last one are transfer of cash from the matured time deposit to depositor's current account. And it means that moving money from a savings account that has reached its maturity date into your checking account. That's the first example of the book reconciling items. And the rest will be discussed by my partner, Miss Balane. Thank you.
Pleasant morning to all of us. My name is Meka Shane Balane, the member of Group 1, and my discussion is about debit memos. When we say debit memos, refers to items already debited, withdrawn by the bank on the depositor's account, but not yet known by the depositors. We have four examples of debit memos. First is drawn against insufficient funds check or DAIF, defective check, bank service charges, and last is automatic debit of loan payment. So, when we say debit memos, no, ito ay mga transaksyon kung saan ang bangko ay nag-debit o nag-withdraw ng pondo mula sa account ng depositors. Ngunit hindi pa alam ng depositors ang mga ito, no. Ito ay mga pagbabawas o bayarin na ipinoproseso ng bangko sa ngalan ng may-ari ng account. So, ang una is ang DAIF. Ito ay nagaganap kapag ang isang cheque ay inipresenta para sa pagbabayad, no? Ngunit may kakulangan sa pondo ng account upang mabayaran ang halaga. Pangalawa is defective check, no? From the word defective, kung ang isang depositong cheque ay natuklasang may defekto, tulad ng hindi pirma or may maling impormasyon, maaaring i-debit ng bangko ang account para sa halaga ng cheque. At ang pangatlo is bank service charges. Maaaring magpataw ang bangko ng bayarin para sa iba't ibang transaksyon, no, o pagmamatini ng isang account. Ang mga bayaring ito ay inidebit sa account bilang debit memos. At ang pang-apat is ang automatic debit ng loan payment. Sa kaso ng mga utang, no, o iba pang recurring na mga bayarin, maaaring automatikong i-debit ng bangko ang account para sa eskeduladong bayad ng loan. Ang debit na ito ay naitatala bilang isang debit memo sa account ng depositor. So, ang kahalagan lang dito, no, ang debit memos, dapat alam ng mga may-ari ng account na upang mamonitor ang kanilang mga transaksyon at tiyakin na sila ay may kaalaman sa lahat ng mga debit na ginagawa ng bangko sa kanilang account. So, ang mahalaga dito, para sa mga depositor na regular na suriin ng kanilang bank statement, no? Para upang makakilala at maunawaan nila kung ano ba yung debit memos. Next slide po. And the next discussion is deposit in transit and outstanding check. When we say outstanding checks, are checks issued and on the hands of the payee but not yet presented in the bank for payment, and certified checks which are already certified by the bank as withdrawal or debit amount to the depositor's account. While we say deposits in transits, are cash received and recorded by the depositor but not yet recognized by the bank as deposit. Ang pagkakaiba ng outstanding check sa deposits and transit. When we say outstanding checks, no, ito ang mga cheque na in-issue ng nagbabayad ngunit hindi pa isinumite sa bangko, no, para sa pagbabayad. At meron pang paliwanag dito na ang cheque na ito ay nasa kamay ng tatanggap ngunit hindi pa isinumite sa bangko para sa pag-clear. Ang pagkakaiba nito sa certified checks ay na ang certified checks ay mga cheque na kumpirmado na ng bangko, no, bilang pag-withdraw o debit sa account na nagde-deposito. Pag sinabi naman nating deposits and transits, ito ay pera, no, na tinatanggap at naitala ng nagde-deposito ngunit hindi pa kinikilala ng bangko bilang deposito. Ang mga deposits in transit ay mga deposito, no, na nai-record na ng nagde-deposito ngunit hindi pa ito kinikilala ng bangko bilang patunay na na-deposit na siya. Sa madaling salita, no, ang outstanding check ay may kinalaman siya sa naipasang cheque, habang ang deposit in transit naman ay may kinalaman sa mga deposito na tinanggap na ngunit hindi pa kinikilala ng bangko.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mary Jane V. Candelario, and now I will be discussing about forms of bank reconciliations. So, forms of bank reconciliation. Number 1, adjusted balance method. Under this method, the cash book balance and the cash bank balance are adjusted so that it will result to a correct and equal cash balance. So the adjusted balance method is when both the cash book balance and the cashback balance are adjusted to make sure they are the same. This helps ensure that there are no errors in recording the cash transactions. So in XYZ Company, bank reconciliation statement, month ended March 31, 2018. So in cash balance as per bank statement on February 28, 2018, we have $300,000, and add the deposit in transit, we have 20,000. So total of $320,000. And to deduct the outstanding checks, which is the 50,000. So the adjusted cash balance, we have the $270,000. So in the balance as per depositor's record on February 28, 2018, we have $260,900. And to add the receivable collected by bank, which is $9,800, and the interest earned 20, and total of 9,820. So $260,900, add 9,820, we have $270,720. So in deduction, NSF check, which is 520, service charges, which is 100, and error on check, which is 100, and total of 720. So we have the adjusted cash balance, which is $270,000. Number 2, book to bank method. Under this method, the unadjusted book balance is adjusted to reflect the unadjusted bank balance. So the book to bank method involves adjusting the unadjusted book balance to match the unadjusted bank balance. So this is done to reconcile any differences between what is recorded in the company's book and what is shown in the bank statement. So last, which is number 3, the bank to book method. So under this method, the unadjusted bank balance is adjusted to reflect the unadjusted book balance. So the bank to book method is when the unadjusted bank balance is adjusted to match the unadjusted book balance. So this is another way to reconcile any discrepancies between the company's records and the bank's records. So overall, these methods are used to ensure that the company's cash balance is accurate and that there are no mistakes in recording the financial transactions.
Good day everyone, I'm Maxine Roniz F. Ramos to discuss the preparation of a bank reconciliation. So let's talk about the bank reconciliation. It is a process to ensure that their internal records of cash transaction are accurate and match the record of the bank. The adjusted form of bank reconciliation involves the following step. Preparation of a bank reconciliation in adjusted form. First, find the balance per book and the balance per bank. Basically, the balance per book is the company internal record of its cash balance, while the balance per bank is the bank record of the company cash balance based on the bank statement. Second is compare the cash receipt to the bank statement deposit and find the difference. So this step involves comparing the cash receipt recorded by the company to the bank statement deposit. Any difference indicate that there may be an error. It's either the company record or the bank statement. Third is compare the check issued by the company to the bank statement withdrawal and find the check which is are not presented for payment to the bank. This step involves comparing the checks issued by the company to the bank statement withdrawal if there are checks that have not been presented for payment to the bank. They need to be included in the reconciliation process. Fourth is the bank statement should be examined to determine whether there are bank credits or bank debit not yet recorded by the depositor. So this step involves examining the bank statement to identify any bank credits or debits that have not yet been recorded by the company item need to be included in the reconciliation process. Lastly, for error, correct the error to the cash balance that committed the errors. So basically, once all the reconciling item have been identified, the error needs to be corrected to the cash balance that committed the errors. This may involve adjusting the company's internal records or contacting the bank to resolve any discrepancies. So at this point, a formal reconciliation may be prepared because all the reconciling items have already been determined. So the formal reconciliation involves listing all the reconciling item and explaining how they were resolved. This process help ensure that the company records are accurate and up to a date. Next reporter.
Good day, everyone. I'm Faith Ramsel C. Gonzalez. I will discuss preparation of adjusting entries. So the adjusting entries is only required on the book of depositor. The purpose of the adjusting entries is to bring the cash balance into correct balance of cash at the reporting period. Letter A. To record the note collected by bank, cash in bank which is 19,000 and notes receivable is 19,000. Letter B. To record the defective customer check, accounts receivable which is 7,000 and cash in bank is 7,000. Letter C. To record the bank service charge which is 2,000 and cash in bank is 2,000. Next, the example of errors. First, overstatement of cash receipts on the book of the depositor. It undermines the integrity of financial reporting and can damage the trust of the stakeholder. And also, it is essential for businesses to have robust internal controls, regular audits, and ethical practices to prevent and detect such fraudulent activities. Second, overstatement of check loan by the depositor. It is crucial for businesses to maintain accurate and transparent accounting practices to prevent and detect such fraudulent activities. And implementing strong internal controls, conducting regular audits, and promoting ethical behavior are essential steps to against the overstatement and check loans and other financial irregularities. The third one, erroneously credited by the bank to the depositor account. It is essential for both the bank and the account holder to take immediate action to rectify the error. The depositor should notify the bank of the incorrect credited to avoid any potential legal and ethical issues. Lastly, erroneously debited by the bank to the depositor account. It is crucial for both the bank and the depositor to address the issue promptly. The depositor should notify the bank of the incorrect debit to ensure that the error is investigated and rectified in a timely manner. And that's all. This is the end of our report. Thank you.